During this time of unique hardships, some people are for the first time experiencing getting commodities from the U.S. government. I have some experience with commodities, and I've been getting calls and emails from friends asking me for suggestions of how to use this. One thing everybody says is this: if I went to the grocery store, this isn't how I would shop. I'm not sure my children will eat these things. I understand. I can remember being first faced with commodities when I worked in a homeless shelter, and I had no idea what to do with them. At the time, I didn't have much cooking experience either, so it made it a bigger challenge. So I'm going to share a few quick things, and if people find this helpful, I may share some more specific recipes for some different things. In case you don't know much about U.S. commodities, this is kind of a sampling of some of the things you might have gotten. Here's some pecans. Sometimes you get some dried fruit, canned pork, canned beef, some garbanzo beans or chickpeas, some baking mix, some dried non-fat powder, lentils. A lot of people don't know even what lentils, how to cook them. I've never used them. Personally, I tell you, this is the gem you got that you don't know you got. It's a diamond in the rough. You also probably got some type of beans, some rice. If it was brown rice, you're probably thinking, how do I get my children to eat that if they haven't had brown rice? So we're going to talk about what to do with it and how to use it. Garbanzo beans, first of all, obviously if you're a hummus fan, you've already got this problem solved. If you're not a hummus fan, you may not know what to do. Obviously, you can always add it to soup, but they're also really great toasted. You just drain the can, add a little bit of olive oil, maybe like about a tablespoon, even a little less, and then some curry powder, usually about a tablespoon of curry powder. Stir that together so it's all nice and coated. Put it on a baking sheet. If you have some parchment paper, it'll make cleanup easier to put that down first. Bake it at 425 for 15 to 20 minutes, and it's a delicious side dish or a great snack. Children, you'll be surprised that they actually like this. Also, this baking mix, a lot of people say it doesn't quite taste right to them. It is excellent. In fact, you can make some amazing biscuits, kind of like a Red Lobster with the cheese and garlic, as long as you add a little bit of garlic salt and you add some, of course, some shredded cheese. If you've got the government cheese that comes in kind of like a Velveeta type box, that can be used. There's two different kinds of that, and one's low fat, low sodium, one's low fat. The low fat one is easier to work with than the other. We could do a whole segment just on how to use that cheese. And so this baking mix is great, not just for biscuits, you can also use it for pancakes and waffles, and I use it for dumplings. You can substitute, you can use water and just use a little bit more than the biscuit recipe to make dumplings, or you can use some chicken broth that you have, add that to it, and a little bit of, if you have milk or whipping cream, and to your batter, and then use that to cook dumplings, and it's very delicious. The pork, sometimes you get it frozen, sometimes you get it in a can. I think the frozen's a little bit more flexible on what you can use it for. The canned one, the secret to it is once you open it, to put it in a strainer or colander and hit it with some hot water and wash it off. Get all the extra grease and oils that it's packed in off of it. Sometimes I do such a good job it almost ends up a little dry, and I actually have to put a squirt or two or a cap full of olive oil in it or some other type of oil just to get it going again. Stir it around, add some barbecue sauce, and it's a delicious barbecue sandwich that your kids will enjoy if they like barbecue. Some people say you can make carnitas with it. I have found mixed results with that. However, the frozen makes good carnitas. So if you're a carnitas fan, by all means do the same thing. Thaw the frozen, do the same thing, wash some of that fat and stuff off of it, and you'll have a great pulled pork. Over here we have powdered milk. You may not be a powdered milk fan, I understand. However, it is great to cook with. You can make puddings with it if your children like pudding, and mashed potatoes. When you may have gotten some mashed potatoes from the government, those tend to be rather bland. I usually add some garlic salt. I add a little bit more liquid than they say, a little bit more milk or cream or whatever I'm going to add in, whatever I have, and that makes great mashed potatoes if you add this non-fat milk to it. The non-fat milk, it sometimes is a hard sell to drink. Sometimes you can mix it half and half with a gallon of regular, like 2% or whole, whatever you use, and that will make it where the children will drink it and not realize what it is so much. Let me talk a little, pecans. First of all, you can obviously make lots of nice muffins and that type of thing, but with a big bag like this, if your kids just don't snack on it, you can always make pralines where you candy it a little bit and they can eat it that way. It's also a great meat substitute. You can chop it up and make it into taco meat, all kinds of great things. Beans, you can't go wrong with a good old pot of beans. If your children haven't been exposed to that before, you may have to add quite a bit of ham. And sometimes you'll get a frozen ham in your package. It looks a little unappealing the way it's packaged, but once you thaw it and slice it up and put it in a pot of beans, let it cook all day, it is really delicious. You can also slice it thin and grill it, and it's great for sandwiches, that ham, if you struggle with that. I have the lentils here now. I saved the best for last. During wars and shortages times, especially in Europe, lentils are traditionally used as a substitution for things like a hamburger. And it is very versatile in what you can do with it. You don't have to soak it before you cook it. It cooks in 30 to 50 minutes, depending on how soft you like your lentils to be. You can use it just as you would use ground beef, and you can season it for tacos. You can season it for sloppy joes. It is an amazing, versatile dish. Does it taste exactly like hamburger? Absolutely not. But is it delicious and your kids will like it? It is. Sometimes if you don't think it's quite meaty enough flavored, I put some like beef bouillon or a beef soup starter into it, and when I'm cooking it, and it gives it a little bit more of a meaty taste. I hope this was helpful to you, and if you have specific things you've received in your commodities and you want to know how to use them, please feel free to comment or send an email to me, and I'll do my best to help you out. Thank you.